where are we? That's the question. That is the question. Now, I'm not exactly sure where I am, but I know I'm near York, Pennsylvania, everybody. So what is that? York, Pennsylvania, right? Well, I'm pretty sure it's the York Peppermint Patty. Remember that commercial? I'm going on a breeze on a skiing mountain, or whatever they would say. I take a bite of a York Peppermint Patty, and instantly I'm on the top of a mountain skiing down the slopes. And they would say all that stuff, remember? But I also learned that York County is the snack capital of the country. Snyder's of Hanover, York, Peppermint Patties. We have Martin's Chips and some others. They're all here in York. Isn't that something? So that's where I am. I'm in a hotel room, hanging out. I have lots of stuff to do. Now, I am on my way, theoretically, to Jets camp this week. We're going to be joint practicing against the Todd Bowles Bucks. Todd Bowles gets to stroll back in to Florham Park, One Jets Drive, where at one time he was the hero from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Remember all that stuff? Remember we would do that? So that's what I'm doing. I'm on my way up there. I'm going to show you guys lots of fun stuff. I might have some interesting things to be able to show you. We'll see how that goes, but I'm excited nonetheless. Now that that's all said, I am Green Bean, and this is episode 126 of Green Bean's Jets Pod. I'm feeling weird. I don't have my microphone. Everything, like you only have, specific spaces in here. So I'm like bending over and I'm weird and the chair doesn't work. And you know what I mean? It's like, it's a weird thing. So forgive me if I seem all creepy and rickety. I'm like, hello there. That's what's going on. I'm at the behest of this room and whatever it offers. But I'm in a good mood, man. I've been hanging out. I've been doing stuff. I've been living, breathing, all those things. And now I'm out here in York, Pennsylvania. I'm on my way down to like a Philly kind of a thing for a couple days. And then I'm heading up to New York Jets camp with so many of you guys. And whoever's not there, we're going to give you an inside scooparoon and show you what it looks like in there on the days of the joint practices. It's going to be exciting. I know Ryan and I think O'Leary are able to go on the 16th. I'll be there on the 17th. I may be there on the 16th as well. I don't know if I can pull it together. But no matter how you slice it, we're going to be giving you guys tons of fun stuff to look at on a fun week. Guys, this is a fun time to be a Jets fan, isn't it? Now, we don't want to get too berserk over preseason. We really don't. But I'll tell you what. It's a little better to get a little, berserk about things that look good than getting berserk about defending things that look terrible. Fair? Is that a fair enough point? Can we at least agree on that? We see all this stuff all the time, when you get a young quarterback, whether it's Sam Darnold or Zach Wilson, our two most recent guys that we thought were going to be the franchise for us. And they look terrible, right? They're sloppy. They look confused. Whatever it might be. And we have to defend them. We have to say, well, hey, look, it's preseason. And, the guy blocking was a third stringer. And the receiver, he's newer, so he doesn't know the offense. We would do all this stuff to justify what really boiled down to poor play. That's really what we were watching. Now, some of it might have been legit as far as what we were seeing, but it's not necessarily the reason why we were watching all this poor play. And it's nice right now to see progress. That's what we're seeing. As we know by now, the New York Jets played a preseason game this week after a joint practice session. We were supposed to have a couple, but the weather with the Carolina Panthers. Now, there's a lot of interesting storylines here that we can talk about, and we will in just a moment. I do want to remind you guys about a couple of things. One is, I'm not going to yell it, but because I think I have a neighbor right there. But the milk thumbs, right? We got to do those milk thumbs. Go ahead and do that. Give me the like button, the thumbs up button, if you'd be so inclined. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, it's a great thing to do. It's appreciated. I'm grateful when you do it, and I thank all of those who have already done it. It helps the channel. Now, guys, I'm going to do this. I'm going to help you. I'm using something right now. You guys know, if you've been watching for a couple of weeks, Testosil. The truth is that I have reasons why I was looking into the testosterone market, going to the doctor, all these types of things. And it boiled down to the best option for me was a booster, a testosterone booster. Well, right now, the all-natural testosterone booster, Testosil, if you use the promo code GreenBean, or you can just jump the shark and click the link right in the description there, takes you right to the page where you will get a free bottle if you buy a bottle, and a second free bottle if you buy 2 bottles, full bottles. So not only that, you'll save $10 on that site from the original price. And guys, if you don't like it, if you feel like this is all baloney, it's just not sticking with me, you can go ahead and get your money back. Full, no questions asked, money back guarantee. What is it about testosterone? Well, depression, things like lack of energy, maybe emotions that you're not not used to dealing with, all those kinds of things. Weight gain, all that stuff can be attributed to lack of testosterone, low T levels. And that's what was going on with me. So here I am. I'm taking Testosil. I love it. I'm passing it on to you. Free bottle, $10 off, money back guarantee. The link is in the description. The promo code is GreenBean. And if you're you might as well save a whole bunch on the process. There it is. Thank you, Testosil, for being part of GreenBean's Jets pod. I appreciate it. So, guys, here we go. Let's get right into a shorter version of our player profile, but it's an interesting fella. With it being episode 126, we have number 26, Brandon Echols, a little fella that we took in the 6th round, the measly, paltry 6th round of the 2021 draft, who ended up being pretty good. Now, in 2021, we got to see him start at cornerback alongside of Bryce Hall, who was a 5th round pick the year before. So we had these 2 late round picks out there starting. Both of them looked very good. Turns out this regime likes Brandon Echols more than Hall, so it looks like my boy Bryce Hall from UVA is got a good shot to get pushed off the roster this year, especially if they want to back up nickel with maybe a Javelin Guidry. But Brandon Echols, man, he's made good. You want to talk about getting something out of your mid to late round picks. Look at that draft alone. We have Michael Carter II. He's a 5th round pick. You got Jamien Sherwood. He's a 4th round pick. You got Brandon Echols. He's a 6th round pick. I'm telling you, Jonathan Marshall, who was our last pick, a late 6th round pick, that guy gets released or exposed to waivers by the Steelers. I'm telling you, Joe Douglas is going to be like, scoop! He's going to grab him right back. He put 2 years into Jonathan Marshall with a perfect 10 RAS score. Joe Douglas is going to get him back. Maybe that means the end for a guy like potentially Tanzel Smart or one of those fellas. But Brandon Echols, man, he looks to be a mainstay on the roster. Good on special teams. If he needs to come in for a series or for a game, they trust him. He's a good ball player. That's exactly what you're trying to do with your mid to late round picks. Maybe they can develop into starters too. That's fantastic. But if you can fill out that bottom end of your roster, the special teams guys, the depth on your team with your late round picks, you're doing a great job. Brandon Echols is a fantastic example of that. And the truth is, while I do like Bryce Hall, I really do want him to stick around. I think the guy's a stud. He might not be sauce, but I think he's a very solid cornerback. Again, the regime just seems to like Brandon Echols better, and it is what it is, man. I like Brandon Echols too. So there he is, player profile. Let's see how he develops this year. Let's see if he can take that step, and when he comes on, make a little bit more of an impact, maybe make a little bit of noise. That'd be really good. But look at our cornerbacks. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Michael Carter II. Again, mid-round pick, or late-round pick, really, of the same draft that Brandon Echols was from. And then right after him, depth, you got Brandon Echols, and you got Javelin Guidry, who was an undrafted free agent in 2020. And then if Bryce Hall does stick, we're talking about a 5th round pick. Not too shabby, man. You got a 1st round pick, a free agent from the Seahawks. You have a 5th round pick, or 2 5th round picks, a 6th round pick, and an undrafted free agent. Not too shabby. There he is. And from there, let's talk about this game, but not only in the ways that everybody's been doing it about what happened and what it looked like. And let's talk a little bit about what it could mean in this version of the news of the week. So yeah, we played the Cleveland Browns in the Hall of Fame game, and we had our positives, right? We got to see Becton come on the field for the first time, played only a handful of snaps, but looked very good in that short sample size. Zach Wilson only played a couple drives, but he had some positives, namely that he wasn't freaking out. That's kind of the thing, right? For Zach Wilson, it's not so much about seeing him make amazing plays. Like, the truth is that we've seen him do all that stuff, right? We've seen him run around, off schedule, zipping it down, pointing to the end zone, all those kinds of things. Zach Wilson has done that. It's more about just being a quarterback with him. Like, hey, relax. The pocket's there. You don't need to freak out. And when you do freak out, can you run forwards? Maybe run forwards, not backwards. 15 yards, skiddly-doo. If we could see him stop doing that, we're going to feel pretty good about the guy. Because let's be honest, we're not talking about our starting quarterback right now. We're not. We're talking about a guy that we hope can be our number two, a viable number two, not just the project, right? You don't want to have to bring in somebody else. Tim Boyle, while he looked maybe a little better, doesn't look like a guy that you want coming in if Aaron Rodgers needs to leave for half a game or a full game or whatever it might be. Tim Boyle doesn't look like the guy. So you got to figure out if Zach Wilson can do it. The last time we saw him really play was in an atrocious display against the Jacksonville Jaguars on Thursday night. We could have made the playoffs still. We had playoff implications, and we watched a quarterback that really looked like he didn't belong in the NFL. That's what it looked like. So to see him come back now, this 27-0 victory, Zach Wilson's stats looked like this. 14 for 20, 123 yards with a 6.2 average per passing play, 1 touchdown, and he was also sacked. He had a 102.7 quarterback rating. Not too bad for Zach Wilson. He also had a 70% completion percentage. What does that tell you? We're looking for something called efficiency. Zach's problem trying to make everything happen right now. If the play's done, then the play's done. If you only got to check down, you only got to check down. If it's only going to be 3 yards, take the 3 yards, right? What's the old saying? Take what the defense gives you. If it's 3, hey, if you got to do 3 yards, boop, 3, boop, 3, boop. It's just, then you do that when they start responding to that, then you can do other things, right? You take what they give you. Zach had a very difficult time doing that. So what we're seeing right now, again, while it's preseason, it's a good indicator that he's settling down, that this Hackett infusion, this Aaron Rodgers piece, that together they're having a positive impact on this young quarterback. Don't forget, he's still young. He's going into his 3rd year, right? Is it his 4th yet? I think it's his 3rd year. So it's like we have time with this guy. And it's nice to see them, when they're pushing reset, actually have an impact on him so early. Again, you don't have to save the world. It's nice to see him doing it. He had a beautiful touchdown, which was very Aaron Rodgers-esque, I may add. So Kenny Yeboah, another guy that's going to have a hard time making the roster. Truth is, he's having a great camp, and he's having a solid preseason. But it's just, the numbers game, man. He does have Tim Boyle on his side. Not Tim Boyle, Brent Boyer. He's got him. Brent Boyer is on his side because Yeboah is a very strong special teamer as well. But the kid can play, and he's showing it now. He caught that touchdown from Zach Wilson, and that's really great. But it's going to be interesting to see, especially with, we got Uzama, we got Conklin, you got Ruckert. They're going to want to keep the fullback. And then you got Kuntz. It's like, how many of these guys can you really keep? I don't know if you're going to be able to stash a Yeboah on the practice squad. Maybe they'll try. But I feel like there's a good shot of him he's not going to make it here. And I think that we'll lose him. And this is one of those things when you lose good players because your roster is actually strong. It's a positive, right, guys? It's a positive to lose guys you love. That's what I keep telling myself because it sucks. It really does. It sucks, But it is what it is. But he's showing up, and it's looking good with him and Zach Wilson. I think the bigger story, how can you have a bigger story than Zach Wilson, right? It's, unless it was Aaron Rodgers, which it's not, and that's okay. But what could be a bigger story? The offensive line, Mekhi Becton, and the rest, right? We don't know who's really going to be here or there. Who's our right tackle? Does ABT have to move over? If so, who's the guard? What about Tippmann? We have lots of question marks on our offensive line. But here's what I'm going to tell you. And I've been saying it for a few weeks now. We really have this desire as Jets fans. And again, guys, I'm us, right? Like I'm one of us. You know this by now. I'm not a noob. I'm not, just fresh off the boat, so to speak. I've been here the whole time. I don't say things with judgment. I say them as an acknowledgement of our whole as a fan base. We're nuts. We are nuts. And it's one of those areas that over the last 10, 12 years, it's gotten worse because, man, have we been disappointed. It's just so hard to justify waiting and patience and all those things. But this is one of those areas where patience really is the order of the day. When you look at a guy like Mekhi Becton coming off 2 knee surgeries, right, and missing 2 seasons, you gotta buy into the idea of slowly rolling him back. With Tippmann, he's a rookie. He's playing in a completely different offense. The idea that they're making him earn it and they're making sure that he incrementally steps through the process is smart. In my opinion, I think it's the right way to go. Sometimes you have that pedigree where a guy's just coming in and he's as a draft pick, he's immediately the starter. Sure, that happens. But I'm a big believer in making them earn it, but not just as the motivational tactic, as the slow roll to make sure that they're getting it piecemeal and just getting better and progressing as we move forward. We still have a month until the regular season starts. So what does it look like? For the second week in a row, Tippmann plays a whole mess of offensive plays. Last week he played 24 pass snaps. I think it was 45 offensive plays. No pressures. Not a bad start, right? This week he has 44 with 1 pressure. 1 pressure. Not too bad. In the run game, he's driving guys all over the place. He's looking strong. The only thing I would like to see now, being that it's a month away, 2 more games, some joint practices, the whole thing, I think it's time to get him at least with the 2s. Right? I think we're there. The running with the 3s in camp, I don't necessarily think that that's the wisest thing. Go with the increments. He's played 2 games now. He's looked very good. Let's get him at least with the 2s. It's my belief that you should have him at least a little bit, a couple snaps with Aaron Rodgers. I think he should be doing some of that. But, hey, at least get him with the 2s. There's something really going on out there. It's real. So Tippmann is a huge story because he's our number 2 draft pick. We've talked about this all offseason and for years, really. The Jets don't do so well with their number 2 picks, their second-round picks, let's call them. We don't do so well. So Breece Hall, we have a lot of hope on, looked fantastic. He's not the first second-round pick to look good, but he tore his knee, so we don't know. It's like that second-round baloney coming back in. Tippmann, another second-round pick, top center taken in the draft. At least the first center taken in the draft. He might not have been the top center on everybody's board. Clearly, he was the top center on the Jets board. And we need a center. We need an upgrade at center. It's not to say that Connor McGovern wasn't a good, solid center. And if he needs to start, he needs to start. At least we know what we're getting. But an upgrade was in order, right? So if he can't do it, then it's a big deal. So watching Tippmann, keeping our eye on Tippmann is really, really important. But what I'm going to tell you is they're doing it the right way. I said it weeks ago. He's going to be starting. If it's not week 1, which I do think it's going to be, by the way. If it's not week 1, we're talking about the first quarter of the season, he's the guy. And it might even, there might be a scenario where we need AVT to bounce outside and then Connor McGovern can play guard. I think Connor McGovern would be a smarter choice than maybe a Wes Schweitzer or a Cologne. Not that I think those guys are necessarily bad options, but I think they're more depth. We know Connor McGovern can actually be a starter in the NFL, so I like that. The bigger story still, Mekhi mother effing Becton. We've been talking about it. Now, it's easy to lose faith on a guy when he hasn't played in 2 years. You know, when he's had the weight issues and all the things. You can understand it if not support it. I never supported like dumping on the guy and throwing stones and you're a bust and all those. I never supported that. But there's a piece of me that gets it. I do understand where the sentiment comes from. Seeing him come back, again, the Hall of Fame game, plays 7 games. This week, he plays 27 snaps, and in Salah's words, he wanted to play more. They decided, hey, that's a good enough body of work for tonight. We'll look at the film, see what you needed to fix or what have you. But he was loving it. He's there, and he looked good. He looked like he's starting to get that comfort level with the knee, maybe. That's going to be the thing. But here's the bigger story. I've heard it mentioned a little bit, but I haven't really seen anybody talk about it to any great length. That was the field that he got injured in the first place. That was the field week 1 of the 2021 season where Greg Van Roten missed a block or whatever it was, got beat. The guy rolled on Mekhi Becton's knee. It blew out. We thought it was going to be 6 to 8 weeks. Then we thought it was going to be 8 to 12 weeks. Then we thought it was going to be 12 to 14 weeks. Then we thought it was going to be 1 year. Then he comes back 2 years. And it's been forever. It's not just coming back on the knee. This can be a very symbolic piece. Getting back on that field, reliving, playing on that field where it all crumbled and getting past it is a huge deal. It really is. Not just 7 plays to 27 plays, looking good, making the blocks, dominating. All those things are obviously important. But that piece of it just so happens to be at the field where you got hurt, where it all started and fell apart. You come back and you pop through on the other side. That's going to be something. And I think it's an indicator, man. This is, the universe is filled with these types of symbolisms, and I think it's important. I really do. I buy that sort of stuff. So seeing Mekhi Becton out there, really looking like a guy that belongs out there. The only question I have is if Dwayne Brown comes back and he's the incumbent, left tackle, if he's just kind of got that job, we need to see Mekhi Becton on the right side. And if not, see him. We need to give him a shot, give him some time to acclimate. It's a different position. So I don't know what's going on with that. Again, we still have time, but it's going to be interesting. I've been saying it for a while. I know it's unlikely, and I know people were chopping my head off. I think Mekhi Becton's being given the opportunity to win that job. And I think that he should. If he's healthy, he's arguably the best offensive lineman on the team. Now, maybe Dwayne Brown 10 years ago, whatever. Maybe not, okay? But I think even with that, I think Mekhi Becton has the highest ceiling of anybody not named AVT. I mean, AVT is another one. We're hoping that he can just, we can be solid enough that he can play at his regular spot. But the great thing with him is he's versatile. We have a lot of versatility on this line. Connor McGovern can slide over. Tippmann can slide over. You got all these guys that can play different positions. And that's going to be, it's like they might not be the best, right? But the versatility is intact, and that's a positive. So what does it all mean for us moving forward? Well, we're going to see as we play the Bucs. We don't want to be special or preseason heroes. You don't want to be preseason heroes. That's the truth. You don't want to be like dominating in preseason and believe this illusion, because it's not necessarily the case. But what you're looking at is a bunch of young players that are working on their craft and beating the guys in front of them. It's not about the final score. It's about Zach settling down. It's about getting Becton and Tippmann out there. It's about seeing these players, Israel Abanikanda, Michael Carter, Bam. It's about seeing these guys and getting them to gel with each other. What about the defensive line? Do I even have to talk about it? Jermaine Johnson. Let's just say the one play where Jermaine Johnson did an effective swim move, got the tackle off balance, turned that into a bull rush. And the tackle, the right tackle, ended up on his ass where the left tackle stands. That's what we witnessed. That's Jermaine Johnson, the forgotten first-round pick of the 2022 draft class, who had himself a decent year, a nice rookie campaign. This is the year he came back ready to go. Year in an NFL program, changed his jersey number. What did they like about Jermaine Johnson? Jermaine Johnson, one of the things Saleh liked most about him was he wasn't being taught certain pass rush moves. At the school, the defense called for certain things, and they acknowledged that. Well, where'd you learn that? He went on his own outside of the program and learned how to do those things so he can expand his repertoire. That showed he has the initiative. He's always trying to get better. He's not just going to just accept the limitations of whatever is being given him. He's going to get what he wants to get. And if that's additional, then that's additional. We're seeing the results of that right now. Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, Bryce Huff, when we add those guys to the Carl Lawsons, JFMs, Quinnen Williamses of the world, the potential is there, guys. The potential is there. When you back that up with a Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Michael Carter II, the potential is there for this defense to be truly special. If this whole philosophy of we're going to be protecting leads instead of trying to come from behind with Aaron Rodgers, if that's real, this defense is going to feast this year. These pass rushers, any one of them, whether it's Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, Bryce Huff, Carl Lawson, any one of them, Michael Clemens, 3, 4, 5 years ago would have been the hands-down best player on our defensive line. There's no question. There's no question. And we have this collection of guys, and it's exciting. This defense holds on to that top 5 status with the improvements on offense. Everything you've ever dreamed of is coming true. I'm telling you, 17-0 is real, and that's the news of the week. So yeah, man, here's the thing. Hard Knocks is going to show you this stuff. One Jets Drive is going to show you this stuff. We have competing docuseries trying to show you the deepest caverns that they're allowed to show you against one another, so to speak. This is a great time to be a Jets fan, everybody. It's a great time to be a Jets fan. So what are we doing? This week we're going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, I'm going to be up there. If you guys are going to be there, let me know. I'd love to meet as many of you as I can. It's going to be a fun time. If you've never been to camp, you got to try. If you're in the area, I highly suggest making it to at least one. It's going to be a great day. I'm telling you right now, if you're into the whole Jets thing, you're going to love a day at camp. But I'm going to be up there. The reason that I wanted to go to this, I really want to see them in a joint practice against another team. I want to see Todd Bowles say nothing for hours. It's very important to me. I want to see Todd Bowles stand there, do this, and then at the same time, everybody tell me that he's this brilliant coach. That's what I want to see. I want to see Todd Bowles' 5th offensive coordinator in his 6th year as a head coach. I don't know what that is either, everybody. But it's going to be great. Now, what are we looking for? The number one thing, I really don't even want to mention it. I'm knocking on some fake paneled wood. There's got to be wood in here, though. It's probably particle board. It's all about, I'm not going to say the word. That's what I'll do. I'm going to masterfully dance around this. I want to make it to week 1 with the team that we built. How's that sound? With the actual team that Joe Douglas and the team, whether it's the coaches, his scouts, whatever, Chad Alexander, Phil Savage, Rex Hogan, all the guys, the team that they designed. I want to show up to week 1, September 11th at MetLife Stadium against the division rival Bills with the team that they built. That's what I want. I think that's the most important thing. This is preseason game 3. Traditional, it's really 2 now, right? It's weird. Especially we added 17 games. I don't know what the hell's going on. I can't count anyway, so this is really bad for me. But this is the game where you traditionally see some more starters. We're still not going to see Aaron Rodgers, I would bet. But it's going to be a fun one to watch. As you know, we're going to be live. We're live every week for the games. Every single game we're live. This right now we're doing it on the Talkin' Jets panel channel. So many of you guys have joined. I wasn't able to be there this week, so Matt O'Leary stepped in and hung out with Jeremy, who ate a ghost pepper cookie and almost died. Something like that. You got to watch it. We're clipping it up. You'll see that. But we'll be live for every single game this year, whether it's a 8 o'clock Sunday night, an 8:20 Monday night, a 1 o'clock Sunday, a 4:15 Sunday, a 3 o'clock Friday, whatever the hell they got us doing. We're going to be live for every single one of those games. I hope that you'll join us. And the other thing is you can't forget about the Monday night Talkin' Jets panel ticket buy and meetup, November 6th against the Chargers. They're coming to MetLife. We are going to be there hanging out with Tailgate Joe, hanging out with all of us. So many of you guys have already purchased the tickets. We're going to make it on the field before the game, and we're going to all sit together and watch us beat the living snot out of the Chargers together, high-fiving, picking people up, throwing you over the top bench, whatever. We're going to do all that stuff. It's tradition. It's very important. I hope that you can join us. If you're thinking about it, now's the time because we are running out of tickets. So they're almost done. So guys, I can't wait to see how this joint practice with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers goes. It's going to be exciting stuff. I hope that you'll hang out with me. With that all said, that's episode 126 of Green Bean Jets Pod. Have a great week, everybody. Happy Monday, by the way. And with that all said, as always, go Jets.